Hi, welcome to Life, Loss and Hope. My name is Sarah Bell, and today I want to explore sibling loss, its impact, its complexities and the complications that can surround this type of grief, and why it is often referred to as the forgotten loss. My older and only brother Simon died on March the 7th, 2022. I got the phone call just after I'd finished filming the Mother's Day video on the 8th of March, ironically the day that our mum died many years earlier. My brother was killed in a tragic and shocking mountaineering accident, which was utterly devastating for all the family. My big bro was gone, suddenly and in such an awful way. The shock of a sudden unexpected death was really shattering and quite different from any other previous loss I had experienced, each of which has been uniquely painful and complicated. However, the impact of sibling loss is often overlooked and unspoken. It can be neglected, especially in adulthood, leading to what we call disenfranchised grief, which is a grief that isn't fully seen and heard. It is minimised or judged as less important. And yet, with the death of a brother or a sister, it is significant. And sadly, many of us may have to face the loss more than once. So why is it often referred to as the forgotten loss? Here's a few thoughts. Following a sibling's death, the support usually focuses on the surviving spouse, their children, or the parents who have lost their child. Rarely is it on the siblings. A sibling often has less input into the funeral, memorial services, or other arrangements. Sentiments and condolences that are offered to them often lead to questions more about the deceased's other family, like their parents, how they are faring, which is right and caring, but it can leave a feeling that the loss for a brother or a sister is viewed as less significant. And this means that we can have hidden and suppressed feelings of guilt and shame as surviving siblings are dealing with their own grief and under emotional turmoil. So let's explore why we need to recognise the significance of sibling loss, because it is a unique and special relationship that we have with them. After all, they've shared the same womb, same parents, same house, same memories and life growing up. The happy, the sad, the dreams, the dramas, the accidents, the adventures, holidays, and the secrets. Our sibling is often our first playmate, confidant, the first person we fight with and make up with, that we test our boundaries on. Siblings feature in every chapter of our formative years, and they often know us in an intimate way. So when they die, we can feel like we lose a critical part of our childhood, our history, our identity. Our relationship with them is often the longest that we have in our lives, longer than our partner or our spouse. Siblings are also part of our identity, who we are when we grow up, part of who we were defined as. And I always was Simon's wee sis. His tomboy, partner in crime, his sidekick. He was my first superhero, my big brother who I would have done anything for. It was like losing a friend, even a closest ally, the person who shared my earliest memories, who knew my pets, who we made nicknames up together, Grey's knees. We played together, making dens and fishing. He was the only one that knew the secret places that we frequented, the fields with haystacks, the secret tunnels where we fished with jam jars and worms, or on homemade hooks. He knew the patterns on the wallpaper that came alive in the night when listening to our mother read The Hobbit. And there were stories that we made up and songs that can still bring me to tears. We both knew the smell of Mum's hot cross buns, toasted crumpets, childhood jokes, and the silliness that is bonding forever. So suddenly we've lost someone we've shared our common history with, that knew us in every day of our lives virtually throughout childhood, teenage years and adulthood. Sibling loss is significant because, unlike most family relationships, siblings are more equal, less hierarchical. They're often our partners in crime, and we're taught to obey our parents, but play with our siblings. And I often think of this analogy. Life's a bit like driving a car with a roof and a sunroof. When my grandparents died, it felt like there was no sunroof. And when both my parents died, it was like there was no roof over my head at all, no protection. This feeling of being exposed and vulnerable and the next in line has been expressed to me many times when grown-up children lose both parents. And for me, still having my brother and sister was such a comfort and a sense of security. And then suddenly, when my brother died, it was even harder. It was kind of linear, a beside me death, like the passenger beside me, and my co-driver had gone. With the realization that somehow now you're the head of the family, you're an adult, and you've got to make it on your own. Consequently, a constant is gone, and you may feel very insecure. Although you may or may not have had frequent contact with your sibling, at least you knew another family member was there. A sibling holds a symbolic place in your life. Even if your brother or sister didn't have an impact on your current day-to-day activities, their death can make you feel older and indicate that your family is dwindling. And also, because you're likely to have the same genetic background, the death of a sibling may increase concerns about your own mortality, making you hypervigilant. In some cases, the death of a sibling may suddenly make you the only or the eldest child, which creates a profound shift in the role that you have held with your parents all your life. When combined with your own natural grief, this new role can make it difficult to wade through the many complications that arise when a brother or sister dies. Another factor complicating sibling grief is the need to support your parents, perhaps the spouse or their children in their suffering, which draws on your energy and emotional reserves, making it harder to care for yourself. You may question if you even have the right to mourn as profoundly as they do. Please remember that you do have the right and need to grieve and deserve the same support and care as others affected by the death. Some adults who've lost an adult sibling may also experience this kind of change in their relationship with their parents, especially if they feel their grief isn't fully acknowledged because their parents are so focused and overwhelmed with their own loss. People have expressed to me that they can feel abandoned or neglected by their adult parents. When their inner child is crying out that they need them the most at that time, but they can't reach out because their parents are consumed by their own grief. Perhaps the best avenue for support is from others in the family, friends or a bereavement agency as you navigate your needs and allows you to express your feelings, perhaps of resentment or abandonment. Mourning after a loss of a sibling can be complicated as well for several reasons. Firstly, it is not unusual if in an adult sibling relationship for there to be marked ambivalence present, which can lead to intense feelings of abandonment, anger, grief, guilt, sadness, and regret, especially if the relationship wasn't ideally what you wanted. There can be endless ruminations, wishing for another chance to repair, to say unsaid things and have more time to make things different between you. You may have had a close relationship with your sibling, or perhaps a distant one. Either extreme and everything in between can complicate the grieving process. Additionally, the demands of your job and family may have meant that you couldn't spend as much time as you wanted with your sibling, and that can make you feel guilty. And then your survival can be another source of guilt, especially if you recall those childhood fights when you wished your sibling would disappear. These are normal reactions to sibling loss, and you shouldn't judge yourself if these feelings arise. There are two major extreme dimensions that have been psychologically recognized to characterize the relationship with older siblings that can make the grieving process difficult. So one dimension is called the closeness-distance dimension, because some siblings are in constant contact while others seldom are. The second dimension is the warmth-hostility dimension, because some siblings have a very warm, loving, supportive relationship while others are continually arguing or consciously choose only small contact. And perhaps surprisingly, research has shown that both types of relationship produce the same complicated grief. It's important to validate that it is not only the close and warm relationships we grieve. We grieve our siblings deeply, whether we are estranged, close, distant, or have our differences. In fact, grief can be even more intense if there are unresolved issues, arguments or fractures in the relationship, as this can give us a burden of bitterness, regret, anger, guilt, disappointment and remorse, and all the what ifs, if only, that play out in the head on a loop. The things unsaid that we wish we could have done even, or said, hang in our minds in the too late scenarios. Siblings remain important all our lives, and even in later life they're often even more important because they're a source of support as we share life and help. In fact, research has shown that as we age, we're more likely to look to them for advice, contact, and personal and financial assistance. At a younger age, the death of a brother or sister may bring long-term consequences and affect siblings adversely in their health, behaviour, schoolwork, self-esteem and development. Surviving siblings may be troubled throughout life by a vulnerability to loss, anxiety and insecurities. Many also describe feelings of being sad and lonely and different from their peers. The impact of loss may be felt most by the brother or sister who shared the same significant amount of life space. For instance, a sibling who shared the room or spent most time together are likely to be more affected in their grief. And just like adults, many children who lose a sibling can experience these intense feelings of guilt when a brother or sister dies. They remember all the fights and the name calling, seeing themselves in their memory as the bad child and perhaps the dead sibling as the good one. And this can result in a feeling that we're not good enough or somehow to blame for the death. They may also have distorted beliefs about hospitals, doctors and illness. We will always grieve our sister's or brother's death, whether they were 7 or 70 years old when they died. We still love and miss them. We still grieve their loss, whatever the age or the closeness of relationship. There is, however, one difference. When a 7-year-old dies, families and friends may be more aware of the effect of that loss on a brother or a sister. But when a sibling dies at 70 years of age, the grief of siblings may be less recognised and supported. This suggests 3 things. Firstly, we need to support those in our intimate networks who have lost a sibling. They too need love, acknowledgement and validation of their grief. Secondly, it reminds us to review our sibling relationships in our lives, to perhaps reconcile if there is a need to cherish those supportive relationships and to share our sense of love and appreciation. And finally, it reminds us of the need to acknowledge our loss and grief. We may need to seek support as we navigate and adapt to our loss, either from family, friends, bereavement agencies, grief groups and professional counsellors. Remember, it's never too late to ask for help. There's no expiry date on grief. It's a lifelong journey, and asking for support is not a sign of weakness, it's a strength, because we need each other.